Greetings, Star Warrior.
Welcome to the Outer Rim. I had a great weekend visiting with family. My sister, I have a lovely sister. She's great. She's wonderful. She's my hero. Hopefully you guys had just as good a weekend. But now on to the Star Wars talk. So with all the news and talk about the Star Wars DVDs and Blu-rays coming out, we're getting the chance to hear a lot about Mark Hamill, Rian Johnson, the director and the Jedi and all that stuff. And Kathleen Kennedy, I believe, has still been quite silent for a while. I have been out of the loop for the last couple days and tried to get a little bit back into the news yesterday. And I ended up watching a few videos, and one of them was by Jar Jar Abrams that he uploaded. And it was that Kathleen Kennedy video where she implied that women don't relate to Luke Skywalker. At the time Jar Jar Abrams uploaded that video, there was so much going on that I just neglected to talk about it at all. There were so many other people covering it as well. But now I'm going to go back and give my thoughts on this situation. So I'm going to play some audio from that video, and we're going to pick apart everything she says.
I think there was an assumption being made for quite a while that girls didn't care about Star Wars, or that girls weren't identifying with characters like Luke Skywalker or Han Solo. They were only identifying with Princess Leia.
And where would that assumption come from? Who told you this? Is it your assumption? Did it come out of thin air? Did you get that through osmosis or something? Or are you just making this up on the fly to justify characters like Rey, Holdo, and Rose? Let's play that one more time, at least a little bit of it.
I think there was an assumption being made for quite a while.
Okay, so that assumption was being made by you. There wasn't an assumption being made by anyone else. Either people, men and women both, didn't care and didn't make any assumptions, or people, i.e. you, did care, made their assumptions, and then you projected your assumption onto the rest of the world as if there was some sort of epidemic going on or something, whether the assumption was being shared by other people or not. I mean, just say that. Say you made the assumption, and you don't know what other people thought. The thing about assumptions is they're not based in fact. They can be wrong every bit as much as they can be correct.
Or characters in other movies along those lines. And I think, it's not just Star Wars that's making this change. I think culturally, and I want to believe that there is real movement and momentum.
Change? What change? If you're talking about making characters like Rey and Holdo and Rose, I don't understand what you think you're changing. I mean, Ellen Ripley was a character like 30, 40 years ago. And just an FYI, Rey isn't fit to tie her shoelaces. Women and girls identify with Ellen Ripley. Hell, I identified with Ellen Ripley.
Beginning to happen where those kind of lines are being blurred, and people are recognizing in the creative community that little girls and little boys, for that matter, are crossing over into identifying with lots of different characters and lots of different stories.
Crossing over. Blur the lines. What does this shit mean? From an inclusive standpoint, you haven't broken any new ground. All you've done is cast women. That's been done for 1,000 years. I mean, I could have identified with Rey, but she doesn't earn anything. The character doesn't go through any hardship. She has no challenges. That's a boring character. I hate characters like that. I could have identified with Phasma. I wanted to identify with Phasma. People often say that they thought that Phasma was going to be the next Boba Fett. Hell, I thought Phasma was going to be the next Darth Vader. I mean, especially after first seeing Kylo Ren. He was a joke to me. People say they like his mask. I never liked anything about that character. Okay, the mask sucks to me. It looks stupid, looks unoriginal. And if you're going to compare him to Darth Vader, he's going to need an original-looking mask. His looks derivative and plain. Phasma's is derivative, but clearly it's supposed to be that way. She looked like a badass, and you turned her into a kitten. You didn't use her, really. You just killed her every time she came on screen. Like she was Kenny from South Park or something. I mean, they make cartoon characters like this. And as far as Rose goes, I've heard people defending that character. I've never heard anyone defending Canto Bight, which is basically what her character was all about. That's where all her character got all of her development, what little of it she got. Even the John Campias and the Colliders of the world don't defend Canto Bight. The sad part of it is that her last words of dialogue was probably the best dialogue in the whole damn movie. That's the sad part. Wow, shaking my head right now.
And we, as filmmakers, should not be the ones providing those boundaries.
You, the most divisive person in Hollywood, talking about how you shouldn't be providing boundaries. Yeah, you shouldn't be, but you did. Explain that for me for a second.
We should just tell the stories, and they should be open to a wide variety of, not only gender, but ethnicity.
That used to be how things were. Things used to be open to a wide variety. Now you say, hey, we've picked our political stance on this. Star Wars is going to reflect that. And everyone who doesn't agree with my politics is out. Fuck you. Or just eat the shit we throw at you.
And that's another thing that we're really working to do, is to make the casting reflect society.
You're fired.
On a much more equal basis.
So, I mentioned my sister at the beginning of this video, and, she's a great person. I watched her come up. She's my little sister. She started her own business. She's successful. And none of that stuff was given to her. She had to work hard. She had help in the beginning. She gets help now when she needs it. None of that stuff was just given to her. None of it, she wasn't born with all the amazing skills she would need to be successful. She had to develop them. She had to overcome challenges. No one who should have been helping her ever told her to fuck off. And through her experiences, she's become a very strong person. Your perspective teaches girls that they should be given everything, that they compete at a higher level than men do in everything they do and everything they want to do. They don't have to earn anything. This doesn't work in life. It's not real. It's uninclusive. And I won't even really get into the minstrel you made out of Finn. I will just say that there are thousands of black people that think you made a joke out of them with that character, and leave it at that. So I think I'm done with this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and as always, if you're listening, you are the new rebel. You are the new rebel. You are the new rebel. You are the